Good morning. This morning I'm going to talk about Franz Jagersratter. Now, this is not a famous name. It's not a name that's well known, but he was a conscientious objector. And he was at a time when it was a very interesting point because this is in 1938, in 1943. He looks over, he leaves his house. He goes up on a hill, looks back over at the church where he had been a sexton. He looks back over the farm where he had farmed, and off he goes. And one of his neighbors from the town said, he said, "Go with God, Franz." And Franz answered him, and he said, "You'll see me no more." So what had happened here is Germany had invaded Austria, and it was fairly well accepted in Austria. And but he looked at this as the Nazis were not okay. That this was like a form of evil, in any participation with it, certainly in serving the army, he looked at it as a mortal sin. He had, as a young fellow, he had been kind of a ruffian of sorts. He got married, and shortly after, he had some kind of major conversion experience, and he just got so into his faith, so into God, that he just felt on fire with it, and so much identified with the promise of Jesus for everlasting life. So for him, to go and join the Nazi army would have been to go along with that, and it just was unconscionable for him. So he went down to the induction center and reported the fact that he was not going to be serving in the army. He was going to be a conscientious objector, and he was immediately arrested. So he's put in prison. No ifs, ands, or buts. It was not accepted that he could do such a thing. There's no exceptions for that in the whole Nazi regime and in their control and push for that. He had, prior to doing this, he had talked to his wife, he had talked to his priest, he had even talked to the bishop, and all of them tried to persuade him to just go along with it, just move it through. And he thought about it, prayed about it, and just said, "I can't go along with this." And in the prison, while he was in prison and before he gets beheaded, he writes a little spiel about how he had a dream. And in this dream, everybody was getting on this train, and he's watching them all getting on this train. And he had the dream. This is in 43, I think, where he's in prison. He said he had this dream way back in 1938. And of course, the Nazi regime and all of that, the momentum was already there, even though it didn't happen till later. So as it works in this dream, he's seeing everybody getting onto this train, a big silver train, long, and it was very nice and all that. And the announcer was saying, "Here, this train is bound for hell." And for him, as he woke, totally shaken by this dream, he thought, this is everybody joining on with the Nazis. I have to protect my eternal soul. I cannot offer any way to blow that by going along with the crowd. And it just seemed like going along with the crowd was not the way to do it. I wonder, where would I be? Where would you be if all of a sudden you're faced in something that's a life and death situation? Let us pray that as we make our little choices, we make choices that match our conscience. For inside of us is Christ, and he is giving us a clear message of what is right and wrong, and he is giving us a clear view of what we should not do. Let us proceed today and not do that.